Good evening, good evening. I can't believe we've actually got a live show with a maker guest.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get the formalities out of the way. Is that okay?
Yeah. So welcome to At Home with the Fishers, starring Nicola and Chris Fisher, RPT.
That's me.
With the Mad Maker, and this is episode 25.
Hello!
So, Christopher, thank you so much for joining us.
It's honestly a pleasure.
Have you here. It's been a while since we last spoke to you when we were at Maker Central and you were on the Gorilla Glue stand and
stuck, you might say.
And we were chatting to you there, so it's really great to have you on. So you've been telling us a few bits about what you've been doing, so I'm really intrigued to hear a bit more about you having started turning. So we'll get to that and find out what you're doing with your turning. But yeah, great to have you on the show. So let's just say hello to everybody in the chat. So we've got T+G Making.
Evening, guys.
Maple Tree Studios, who might not chat much because he's munching through takeaway.
Oh, very good.
Steve Fidel was heading into his workshop.
Hi, Steve.
Wayne Bigfoot Woodcraft.
Hi, Wayne.
Leona Faye.
Hello.
I should probably look at the chat as well.
I think that. Oh, Steve's back.
Oh, hello. Must have missed us.
Yeah. Cy Smith. Hi, Cy.
Hi, Cy.
Brett Cunningham.
Evening.
So I think that's everybody. So thanks everybody for watching tonight.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
I know.
But we've come back with a great maker, Chris. Yeah, we know him. Oh yeah, and thanks for the tweet this morning, Chris. It was it popped up on my phone that you'd mentioned us and you were coming on tonight. So I said to Nicola, "Oh, he's tweeted." He said, "Yeah, I know." So I was actually in the workshop turning at that time. So, but I did notice that you'd signed in really. So
yeah, and I stole the picture because he'd used a picture of you and him at Maker Central.
Oh right, yeah.
And
yeah.
I didn't take that many pictures at Maker Central because I ended up sort of busy with other things and looking at Bamba. So I was looking to see if I got any pictures and I hadn't. So unfortunately, I stole yours.
Plagiarism, gotta love it.
Yeah,
it's all good. I made sure I took photos of all the important people at the show. I'm sorry, I missed you as well, Nicola. Sorry.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. Right. So let's start with our first question. Tell us, why do you make?
I think we all make because it's something innate in us. We've like everyone's a maker, no matter what they say. Whether they're on YouTube or Instagram or any other platform, or they're just tinkering around, I think everyone is a little bit of a maker. I think we've always been that way since we evolved. Me, I probably got inspired by my uncle when I was a small child. He was really into his electronics and amateur radio, always making bits and pieces. And I was always pulling apart bits and pieces and destroying stuff and figuring out how things tick. And on that side of things, I learned a lot and sort of grew up, did a bit of engineering, and found myself sort of mid-30s thinking, stuck at a desk job, which I love, but it's a desk job. I'm not using my hands. And thinking, I really am missing something. And I started playing around with woodworking. And that's what it was. Just being able to touch and, mold something into something awesome. And if the frustrating thing is, my dad, he's been a carpenter for about 35 years. Well, he's retired now, but he was a carpenter for 35 years. I learned nothing from him growing up, as children do.
Yeah.
Did not listen to him. He's still alive. I still ring him up all the time for advice, which is quite nice now.
I think that's cool that he's there now. Now that you need him, he's still there.
Yeah, and I think he's loving it.
Yeah, and I think that's a really, really, it's a beautiful, lovely, amazing thing that you weren't interested as a kid, but like you say, you were a kid.
Yeah.
You had other things to do, like build dens and go pow pow at your mates and all that stuff.
And then Discovery Girls, and that just like
Yeah, so I think that's really cool that you can ring your dad up even now and say, Dad, how do I do that?
I bet he loves it as well.
Mm-hmm.
He does. He really does, especially if I'm stuck on something. Now, don't get me wrong, you've got the entire maker community, and there's so many people who will give you advice and help, and everyone's just awesome. But yeah, I always sort of revert back to my dad. It's just sometimes also an excuse to ring him up as well.
Yeah.
Does he live near you, Chris? Or
no, not too near. Probably about an hour's drive.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, I think it's nice when it's your dad and you can, chat to him about things that you need. I know that you've got all the maker community, but it's a bit different when you can go to your dad as well. I think that's really nice.
Yeah, because it is your dad.
Yeah. So, what sort of things did you start making then? You said you were sort of doing stuff with wood. What did you start with?
Just essentials, really. Just the real essentials around the house. Putting up a shelf, building a little step for the cat to get in the cat flap where it wasn't quite high enough. Little things like that. And then about 7 or 8 years ago, me and a group of sort of like-minded people, mostly electronics people, coders. Have you ever heard of the concept of a hackerspace or makerspace?
Yeah.
We basically said to ourselves, hang on a minute, our closest one is Bristol, and then Brighton, and that's not on. There's not one in this area. So we pulled our resources and we founded a makerspace, somewhere where we could physically get all this stuff done. I mean, it was a little unit we started off with. It's quite big now, and just filled with tools. For people that can't necessarily afford a big tool or don't have the space for a big tool, but there are members there who've got every tool and every expensive tool you could imagine, but they don't want to be sitting there at home or in the workshop on their own. They want to be actually working side by side or showing off their latest project. So I think for a large chunk of time, probably about 5 years or so, I was so heavily invested in that, I didn't actually get a chance to make much.
Yeah.
And it was more helping people make stuff, which was satisfying in itself.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit like Men in Sheds. That kind of. Is it like
a little bit? I mean, it predates the movement, but at the same time, it kind of go hand in hand. And one of the things I did, because we got this workshop with people sort of my age, university students, occasional 40-year-old, 50-year-old, all using this workshop during the weekends and evenings, and during the day, empty, because we all got jobs or at university. And I thought that is such a big waste of space. So we founded a men's shed group, and now there's one in Southampton in that unit, and it works really well.
That's really good.
And I really wish that could happen more around the country as well, and vice versa. There's a lot of men's sheds groups that have got this fantastic workshop that closes at 5 and everyone goes home and does their thing, and it's empty and doing nothing. And there's people going, oh, if only I had somewhere to go and tinker around with stuff with my friends. I'm sure the two groups could work together better.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So are you still involved with that?
Sadly, I moved from the area a little while ago, so no longer involved as involved. I'm no longer a trustee. Just I can get down there when I can. But it's kind of a good thing, because it gave me a bit of a kick up the bottom to sort of do my own thing. And that was probably 2.5, 3 years ago, maybe. Yeah, about 2 years ago. And I've always sort of said to myself, I'd like to build one of those, like to do that. Yeah, I'd like to do that. I never really got the choice or the chance to actually do it, because I was always helping someone else or working on a group project. And don't get me wrong, did some amazing group projects, like building a Dalek, for example. But maybe we'll come back to that. Now, of course, I first thing that we did when we moved is said, look, I've got to have a space to call my own, like a maker space of some kind. And I did exactly that, sorted out a small workshop, and been extremely happy since.
That's great. That's great. So you said that you'd started turning. So What got you started on turning?
It was definitely a lathe was another tool. It was just the means to an end. I had an uncle who said, I think he may have had a bit of an accident with it because there was a big dent and he seemed genuinely afraid of it, which is fair enough. And he said, "Do you want this lathe?" I was like, "Yeah, I could build some like doll's house furniture because I'm working on a doll's house for my daughter. I could work on some of the mechanical projects that need maybe turned bits and pieces." And I thought, "Yeah, that's a really nice idea. I'll get this lathe." And that's where I did a whole Alice in Wonderland thing and just fell down a rabbit hole, as you do, and discovered, oh, this is actually a really enjoyable hobby. Just I work as a project manager during the day. It's a stressful job. I'm stuck at a desk. Get home, put some wood on the lathe, and just you don't turn your brain off, as you know, but your brain's in a different place.
Yeah,
Just so cathartic, just working on the wood.
definitely.
And it's turned from a little, just a tool to do a job, to now, what can I get next? What can I do next in my life?
Yeah,
I did downgrade. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, it's very addictive, and then as your skills develop and your passion, like you say, you just further and further down that rabbit hole, and you're always thinking of the next thing you can do on your lathe. But lathes are great machines. I think they used to say, lathes are one of the few machines that are capable. But they're sort of like machinist lathes. It was your machine capable of building itself.
Self-replicate.
But now you've got 3D printers. But lathes are incredible, and it certainly changed my life. That's for sure. And it sounds like you've got this another string to your bow now.
Yeah, and not doing too badly with it either. And about a year ago, you actually, of all people, inspired me to go for this little lathe here, which is the Axminster Precision Pro, the little pen turning lathe.
Yeah.
It was based off of your review. I went, yeah, that's the machine for me, because I don't like doing the big projects really. I like doing the little things and pens and doll's house furniture. This, other than the lack of the chuck, which is a bit of a problem, it's the perfect lathe for me.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, if you're doing things like doll's house stuff,
Yeah.
I saw some people at the Chestnut Woodturner Weekender, and they were making these really teeny weeny lamps and stuff for doll's houses, and they were using very small lathes to do that. So I thought something small was the right way to go. But that must be so intricate, doing things, tiny stuff. You don't really hear of it a lot.
No, it doesn't look as grand or as exciting for a YouTube video, maybe, to do a little thing, but it's probably what I enjoy the most, is doing something, especially the pens recently, in the last year or so. Absolutely loving doing those. Plus, of course, it's something that when you know someone's using it, it adds that extra bit of satisfaction.
Yeah.
I wouldn't demean a piece of artwork that sits on a shelf, or a bowl that sits there and never actually being used as a bowl. But with a pen, someone's using that at the end of the day.
Yeah, and there's something very tactile as well about turn stuff. I know, even bowls that are just sitting there, I'll often pick things up and just touch it because it feels so nice, and something very tactile about them. So going on from your maker space that you were involved in, and obviously we met you at Maker Central, what has the maker community given you?
Everything. They say, I mean, obviously I'm a little YouTuber, but they say the biggest challenge for a small YouTuber is to get the first 100 subs. And that wasn't a challenge at all, because I was involved in the community a little bit and I hit the ground running and more or less got those straight away. It was just great. So many people automatically just supported me. But at every stage of the way, there's just always been someone offering the right advice or the right kick in the right direction, or even sending you stuff. I I do have a few names written down because I have to give a few shout outs to a few people. Andy Pugh, as you know, I think he's been on your show.
He's not been on yet, but we met him at Sittingbourne.
You have met him before, yeah.
The weekend before. Yeah,
Top.
Andy.
Pretty much, I've been umming and ahhing for months about starting a YouTube channel, saying, should I do it? A friend of mine, he's got a YouTube channel. He's gone full-time YouTuber now, which is fantastic.
Wow.
And it's a pipe dream, but it's a dream still. And Andy just said, just stop messing around. And he really kicked my bottom and just said, just do it. It doesn't matter if it's rubbish, just do it. And I did. And haven't looked back, loving it now.
Yeah. I think it's that getting started and just getting that ball rolling. And I think, I do watch some of the YouTube maker stuff. Chris listens to them probably more than I do. My interests are slightly different to Chris's. But when you find somebody that you like, you just really want everything that they're coming up with, because they just resonate with you, or you like the type of projects they do, or you're into the same things. And, there's always an audience out there. So do you want to name drop anybody else?
Yeah, there's a couple of other people. Sorry. Vicky,
no, it's
fine. The carpenter's daughter. You may know her. She was at Maker Central, so you may have met her there as well. Absolutely brilliant lass. She's been sort of, again, kicking me in the right direction of trying to get some blogging done. Pointing out that because she's actually a food blogger initially, and has now gone into the DIY side of things, and pointed out that in the food industry, makeup industry, and kids and all those areas, influencers, YouTubers, they get actually paid a lot more money. They get a lot more support than makers. There's a massive imbalance for some reason. I don't know if it's because the maker movement is still taking off, or some of the tool manufacturers are still learning about how to use us. I don't know. But yeah, there's this big imbalance. But at the same time, there's so many opportunities for someone with a simple blog.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to work on that a little bit, and also branching out a little bit into the parenting blog side of things.
Yeah.
She's been amazing for her, support and help on that. Jamie Page, because it not even met me. I think we'd only been chatting online for 5 minutes. Had an issue with my scroll saw. Didn't even oh yeah, you need some of these. Brought them along to Maker Central. There you go. I mean,
this stuff when it comes to scroll saws.
Well, Jamie did the picture Bamba up there, and he came to Sittingbourne with Arthur Chukinski, Dave G came, Andy Pugh, Maple Tree, and it's just having people who are prepared to come and do that. And we didn't know. I think I knew Dave G was coming, but I'd not told you. It was a surprise. But we didn't know Jamie and everybody else were coming. And it's just that support that they give you as well. And we say it all the time. We probably say it on every podcast, but it's an amazing community.
I've never met a nicer community of people willing to support you. I genuinely am racked with guilt that I'm not doing enough for the community as well.
You sound like all right. You've got that makerspace up and running.
Yeah, that itself.
Don't beat yourself up. I think you've.
Yeah. That was volunteer work. It did encouraged a ton of making. There's probably a lot of younger makers now doing stuff because we set that up. So that is nice. But at the same time, I haven't done anything too recently. I sold out a little bit, and I was on the Gorilla Glue stand this time at Maker Central. Great to work with, really good fun. But the year before that, the previous one?
Yeah.
I was on the Makerspace stand and just spent the whole time just inspiring young people, showing people a banana keyboard, for example. A keyboard that had been made up of bananas. So you touch one banana, it'll play a musical note. You touch another banana. It's such a simple thing when you look at it, and the electronics involved, really easy.
Yeah.
But when you someone, especially a small child, gets on there, has a play and thinks, this is amazing. You can see something like, a spark go off.
Yeah.
That sounds really lame, but you can.
Oh, JP's just come on. We've just been talking about you, Jamie.
Were your ears burning, Jamie? But but no, I was saying, Jamie, and so many others out there, it's never too much trouble to offer advice, and sort of like, if people can read between the lines here, Jamie, it's good advice. And when people that know their shit tell you something, action, what they've told you. So you know what I'm saying, don't you? Between the lines. If you've got someone out there that knows this stuff and they gives you advice, run with it, and it'll make your life a whole lot better. Are you listening, Jamie?
Yeah, he says, don't believe it, it's all lies.
Well, being nice about you, Jamie, to be fair. So yeah, probably all lies. It's funny you should mention Dave Gunner back there as well, who came to your thing. He's another person. When I started turning pens, I said, I'm thinking about turning pens. What bits and pieces do I need? Didn't even think twice. Dave sent me a load of micro mesh saying, you need some of this, mate. Go. So sent me some over, sent me some nice blanks as well, which is fantastic. Paul Wilmore, have you met him? Used to be Paul Wilmore's World of Wood, but he's changed his channel name to Crate to Make now. Worth checking it out if you haven't. Really nice guy. Without even thinking, he was like, yeah, I'll send you my old pen mandrel. Looked at it and thought, no, I can't send him that, and just ordered a new pen mandrel online at Exminster and just got it sent to me without even what's your address, Chris? And then sent it straight on. John Clovier, amazing chap, as you know. Pam Harris as well, both sent me blanks and bushings to sort of help get me started.
I get a great feeling and a sense of happiness when I've paid something forward. I've had students in the workshop here, and they've like Sandra, who's a sergeant. She's a police officer in Greater Manchester Police. She was here doing a wood turning course, and she wanted to get into pens. So my old pen mandrel that I had, I gave it to her, and some bushings and some blanks. I've done that a few times. And when you sort of start amassing a collection of tools and gouges, and you start thinking, well, I've got 3 of those now. You think, right, well, there you go. I've got a couple left. It's all right. So I get a huge buzz out of paying it forward.
Yeah, same here. And I sort of vowed, when I got bits from them, I did vow to myself that I need to be paying this order. New Turner comes along. I was thinking about doing it with there's a Caitlin.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, brilliant! She's getting into wood turning. I'll give her some. Didn't even get a chance. The community just dived in there and just bombarded her with help, and I was like, oh, okay then. Which is that's not a complaint. That is amazing. Although I did manage to give my old scroll saw away recently to I think some family members of KK Makes.
All right, yeah, Carol.
Yeah. So I have paid it forward a little bit. There's more to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to be able to pay something forward, a lot more than I do. But when the opportunity is there, and I've got something spare and I can give it away, I'm more than happy to do it. More than happy.
Dave G's come on. Maple Tree said, "Ears burning, Dave."
Yeah.
I keep talking about people and they keep appearing. What's that about?
Sorry.
I keep talking about people and then they just pop up. Yeah.
It's like
who else should we talk about?
Anybody.
So is there anybody else you'd like to give a shout out to?
There's so many people that have just been awesome in the last few years, but they were like the main people I specifically said I'm going to write these people down because they've just been amazing. I apologize to anyone I may have forgotten because everyone's been great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we found that, I mean, over the time that I've known you, you know, we've had things that people have sent us as well.
Oh,
and,
gosh, it's amazing.
You know, the generosity of people, it's just extraordinary. You know, and I think probably nearly everybody we actually know, there's been something that has come from everybody in one way or another. And yeah, it is
a wonderful thing to receive something from a friend, and it just brightens your day up, and you feel, you know, not humbled, but you feel so happy, and you're very appreciative, and like I say, that's it's just the community, and what you couldn't wish for a better group of friends, and you know, you can ask them for anything, and they'll always do.
That's the other thing. You don't even need to ask. That there are people like
yeah. So what sort of things do you love to make? You know, when you come home from work and you're going in your workshop, what do you want to do then?
Everything. I like to do everything, but never the same thing twice. I'm like a little bit like I think I was telling you before we went live, I'm like a bit of a dog chasing cars, always looking at learning a new skill, buying a new tool. I think actually most of us are like this, aren't we? Always like 20 projects at least on the go at the same time. So yeah, pretty much everything. The lathe, like I said, started as a means to an end, but it's now become a hobby in itself. I love the pen turning. But I think probably the projects that really make me, you know, really excited is when I can take something that's been done before a million times, you know, some woodwork, and put a modern spin on it. And I haven't done this enough yet, and I've got like lists and lists of ideas and crazy things to do. But yeah, taking a traditional item, I mean, just as an example, for genuinely no good reason, I've been trying to make a wooden mallet recently. Been done a million times before, but I'm going to stick some electronics inside it with a little counter and make it into a whack counter. Maybe even display wax per minute. I mean, it's silly. There's no practical use.
Is it going to make a silly noise, Chris?
It might make a squeaky noise if I can get over.
As soon as you said that, I'm there in my head going.
Yep, I was thinking sort of Timmy Mallet, squeaky sort of.
Yeah. And you know, because you used to get these little sort of like plastic hammers as kids, and you hit them, and they go. Sort of like they'd make a squeaky noise, wouldn't they? Yeah. Yeah, do it.
I plan to. It's stuff like that I really enjoy. And I do need to talk about the Dalek, but
I just need to ask you about what JP and Dave G are talking about. Now, I don't know which is the correct one, the poo roll speaker or the poo tooth speaker.
I don't know. I was going to go with brown tooth speaker. But this is a family-friendly show, right? So
yeah, it is.
Obviously, it was a very tongue-in-cheek video I did as a little giveaway to just celebrate 500 subs. Got a Rockler Bluetooth speaker, really good bit of kit actually. I thought, yeah, I'll put this in something and give it away, and it fit in a bog roll just perfectly, like it had been designed for that. So I thought I can't do anything but this now. Yeah.
I personally, I think poo tooth is just brilliant.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's silly. I pretty much, this humor exists at this point only to entertain myself, but I don't care. There's a few people out there who find it funny as well, so it's all good.
I'm sure there's loads of people. I think people like something that's got a sense of humour and something that
people need whimsy in the life.
Yeah, I love whimsy.
And for me, for me to be sat on the toilet and to pull a couple of sheets of paper off, and then it plays some Metallica or something. That'd be brilliant,
It would, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I like to think I don't have the talents. Talents grow. I don't have them yet. I'm not bitter about that, but at least I can do a little bit of showmanship and have a little fun.
Yeah. Well, I got the impression when we met you at Maker Central that there's something a bit sort of wacky and sort of whimsy about you.
Oh, don't know how to take that.
Hey, that's a compliment.
Yeah. Well, he is the mad maker.
Well, exactly.
Yes, and the same day, I don't know what it was. It was Providence of Great Minds Think Alike. Jamie Page did the exact same speaker kit, but he made a really nice, classy Banksia pod. He's saying in the chat now, and it was lovely. And there's me with bog roll.
Now, you see, that would be quite a good thing to do as well, wouldn't it? To say, right, we're going to get these, whatever, Bluetooth speaker or something, and 2 or 3 of you have to then go away and do a project with it. That would be quite interesting. Yeah.
It's like Ready, Steady, Cook.
Yeah.
You empty your bag of ingredients.
Ready, steady, make.
You got your bag of ingredients, and you say, right, you've got 2 weeks, because obviously you can't do it in like 15 minutes of the show. You've got 2 weeks for you to come up with an idea, and someone else on YouTube or in the maker community gets the same bag of components, ingredients, if you will, and everyone says, right, we've got 2 weeks. You've got 3 or 4 people there, and let's see what you come up with. Yeah. And you are not allowed to confer, and it's got to be secret and top secret. And then, right, you've got 2 weeks. You've got all 4 of you got the same bag of components.
That would be quite cool.
Ready, steady, make.
Yeah.
Dave G actually tried, and I don't know how far he's got, whether he intends to do loads more. He kind of started that off with the old wheel of making. He picked a maker out of the list. He picked a material that they'd have to work with, and then a thing that they'd had to make. And that was a little fun. I don't know if he's planning to continue doing that.
He says sounds like you're talking about Makers Showdown.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a great thing, Dave. Yeah. So, tell us something that the maker community doesn't know about you.
Something relevant to making, though, I assume, and interesting.
Anything.
Well,
yeah, anything.
Well, I kind of really been itching to tell you a little bit about this Dalek, because it sort of feeds onto the thing at the top of my projects list as well. Yeah. During the first couple of years of the makerspace, I just wanted to build a Dalek. There's no rhyme or reason. It was just a case of, guys, can we build a Dalek, please? And everyone was like, okay. So we did. There's a really good online community for building stuff like that. There's like a massive R2D2 building community, a massive Dalek building community, even a TARDIS building community. So there's already loads of people around the world as well. This is the crazy thing, who've built them, got plans for them, can tell you about where to source all the bits and pieces. So it was so easy from a design point of view. Although we were all fairly poor, and it was kind of like, you remember Greece, where they steal all the bits and build the car?
No.
Fair enough. It was a case of we could.
Sorry, Chris, I've never watched Grease. I've caught bits of it, and I've sort of like heard bits of it. Shock horror, I would rather put hot pins under my fingernails.
Fair enough.
Scene.
Yeah, so I don't know what you're on about.
That's fair enough. It was kind of like that. We just built it out of whatever we could find. We used a barbecue lid as the dome on the head. We 3D printed a lot of the hemispheres, the bumps that you see. We raided the IKEA scrap bins with their permission, of course. I don't still IKEA. We raided their scrap bins for chipboard, and a lot of the wood was just ex-IKEA chipboard, and amazingly, I think because it's a makerspace, you've got people who know about everything there. We managed to build this thing and make it this big remote control Dalek that we just spent quite a few years having a huge amount of fun with. Just walking around doing the voice.
Yeah.
Great opportunity as well. We made a little bit of money for charity, promoted the space, of course, as well. Genuinely, it's an excuse to go around and be a bit of an ass.
Yeah.
Basically, because people, if you're nice as a Dalek, people get confused. They kind of want you to play the role, so hands are tied. It was just great fun.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So you said that you were going to talk about the Dalek, and then there was something else. Are you going to tell us that?
I can't think of anything that I can reveal at the moment, at this time, that I can tell people about. But there is stuff that is coming up that's really awesome soon. We'll see how it goes.
I noticed looking at your website, you've done an IKEA pen out of bits and bobs that you'd stolen from there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
IKEA pen.
Yeah.
No.
Right. I thought that was really cool.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Workshop's hot tonight. Yes, so they put all their parts and bits and pieces out on display for people to take. So I just was looking for some bits for the bed, and some dowels looked. Yeah, I can make that into a pen. And yeah, I sort of, it was in a bit of a pen making craze where you just like looking around at everything and everything's a pen. The wife starts talking to you and saying, "Oh God, you're just constantly obsessed with pens," and all you can see is a talking pen. Like the cartoon, it was just. And I don't know how and when I'm going to get around to them all, but I've got this long list of crazy things to make into a pen now.
Well, that sounds cool. And I think Dave G, you've just done something I saw on Instagram. I can't remember what they were called. They kind of look like potatoes chopped up. They're not potatoes chopped up, but I can't remember what they're called.
Nuts. I saw that.
Yeah, but they look really cool.
Yeah.
That looked really nice. So yeah, Dave says repatriated.
Yeah.
Chris, don't sit on the fence. Tell us what you really think. That was about Greece.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get political, but I was very tempted to
myself to say that.
I was very tempted to bring the Dalek along to a Britain First rally. Just maybe even have a little Britain First badge on it, just control them, but it might have got destroyed or burnt.
Yeah.
Dave says, tag you a nuts, aka vegetable ivory. Well, they look really cool. JP says, when are you working with James Bruton next?
We do actually have, I can tell you about that. We have a collaboration in the works. I just don't get to see James anywhere near as much these days. He lives in Winchester, and he doesn't make it down to the makerspace much, and I don't make it down to the makerspace much. So, but we do have something in the pipeline, something awesome. Can't tell you too much about it, but it involves bits of me and robotics.
Oh,
that sounds
3D printing.
There you go, Jamie. As much as
it will be genuinely awesome.
Has anybody got any more questions for Chris? Just pop them in the chat. So is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything else you'd like to share with us?
I can't believe I did this, actually. I didn't mention James on the shout outs. Probably should have done, because he's been quite instrumental. He's a full-time YouTuber now, and when I met him, he had like 1,000 subs or something like that. I was just selling bits and pieces on retail, sort of getting into YouTube, and then slowly realizing, hang on a minute, I'm making more money on this YouTube lark than I am selling these bits and pieces. Yeah, and he's been just quite motivational to say, do you know what, if he could do it, anyone can. Yeah. And at the same time, a couple of years ago, talk about generosity. He's sponsored by Lolsbot, who make quite nice printers. He gave me that little machine.
That's 3D printer.
Yeah, and we're not talking about one of those cheapy Chinese jobbies that everyone's getting at the moment. That's a really good printer. But he, obviously he gets them. I can't divulge too much about the financials, but he gets them at a reduced rate or free, and has got like 13 or so of them in his bedroom currently. So can afford to lose one. But yeah, he's been fantastic for getting me kickstarted.
Yeah, that's awesome. Great.
I didn't mention it.
So, the doorbell might ring at some point. But
oh, right. I might have to we are expecting.
I don't know whether that's what I've heard, but so is there anything else you'd like to add?
Oh, yeah, I mean, moving on from the Dalek, as I said, it's top of the list now for projects that I want to build, because it still exists. It's at the Makerspace, and it's a group project now. It's a Makerspaces thing, and it's all the way over there, and I kind of want my own. You know what it's like? Same with tools and bits and pieces. You can share tools, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
And I've got a little space in the workshop already, and I'm literally scouring Facebook and keeping an eye out for an electric wheelchair or even a mobility scooter at the moment.
Oh, right.
They make amazing, because it'll be remote controlled. There's no way I could put in the one I wanted to build. It'd just be too small, unless I lose a lot of weight. So yeah, keeping my eye out for that. And you'd be amazed, actually. There's literally like 1,000 or so Daleks around the world that are registered. That I say registered, that sounds really odd. That people have said, yeah, I've got a Dalek, here it is, and here I am on the map.
It's incredible, isn't it?
There are so many of them out there, and they're amazing, but kind of want to do something a bit different. I'm not sure what. Maybe a completely wooden Dalek.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
Something a bit different.
Like some of the projects where makers have contributed different things.
Oh, yeah. A collaborative effort.
Yeah, that would be quite good.
Yeah.
Leona says, question, how can I get people to give me free stuff?
Well, it's the $1 million question, isn't it?
It is.
Well, can I just say something there? Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing your social media.
Yeah.
Keep your name and your face out there.
And also, if you need something, ask.
Yeah, I mean, Leona, of all people, if she turned around and said, my workshops have just burned down, help, I'm pretty certain, and myself included, there'd be a flood of people just going, what do you need?
Yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes you just got to put it out there as well and ask for help or support. Well, it's been really great chatting with you and finding out a bit more about what you're doing. It's fascinating sort of how you work and the projects you've got on the go, and I can't wait to see some of this new stuff that's coming down the line.
I wish I could tell you about more of it. But...
well, I'll tell you what, we could come back on later on when you've got stuff a bit further down and you can tell us, and we can talk about it again.
Definitely. When these things have come to fruition, you can come back on, Chris, and give us an update.
We'll see how it goes.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. We carry on now and sort of we chat amongst ourselves. You're very welcome to stay and just chip in.
Indeed.
Whatever you want to do. If you need to go, that's also fine. But yeah, it's been really nice talking to you, and thank you for being part of Maker Monday.
Yes,
I shall stick around for 15 minutes or so, but I've got a daughter, a little toddler, who's currently throwing a lot of tantrums, who's going to need to go to bed in a bit. So I'll love you and leave you in a little bit, but linger around for now, if that's all right.
Well, that's fine.
Cool.
That's fine.
Well, thanks for being an amazing guest.
Yeah, thank you very much.
My
There's
pleasure.
a little button at the bottom that just says leave studio. If you just click on that when you're ready to go, it will take you out of the live.
Cheers.
But thank you so much.